Shavuot Tov. As the rabbis asked in Eretz Yisrael, whether it's from Zilberstein and other Gdolei Yisrael, we were starting the halachot. We were trying to learn two halachot of Hilchot Shabbat every single day. We started with the introduction of the Mishnah Brura, just explaining the importance of Hilchot Shabbat. I'll just give you a very quick summary, just before we continue, that we said that it's written in the Torah, Zachor Yom HaShabbat lekadesho, sheshet yamim ta'avod, that you have to remember the Shabbat and you have to work for 6 days, and then you're going to come and you're going to keep the Shabbat. Remember that we were actually obligated 12 times throughout the Torah to watch over the Shabbat, and anybody that's going to be Meshamer et Shabbat, it's kilu mekayim kol Torah. It's as if that you fulfill the entire Torah. If you're going to be Mechalel Shabbat, it's kilu that you're going to be kafar. It's you're going against the entire Torah. Then we came and we actually brought down in the Midrash, in the Torah Nevi'im Uktuvim, it's actually brought down that the Shabbat is equal to all the mitzvot in the Torah. We brought the different psukim, whether it's from the Torah, whether it's from the prophets, whether it's from the scriptures. And then we came and we said that look how bad it is, the Yisur Chilut Shabbat, that it's much worse than all the other punishments in the Torah, whether it's all the other things, and that's what we mentioned also on Shabbat, that Mechalel Shabbat is Sekilah, which is the highest form of punishments in all of the punishments that we have in the Torah. And then the other ones are going to be less, whether it's even going to be Kippur, is only Karet, and so on and so forth. So it just shows you the gravity of what it is to Shabbat. And we finished off last time by just saying that somebody that's going to be Mechalel Shabbat Farhesia, since they're considered, right, that they are Kofer Ba'ikar, what happens is that their Shechita is not a good shechita. So if they slaughter, whatever they slaughter is considered a nevela, it's considered a dead corpse, which means that the shechita is not a good shechita, even though there was a proper Jew watching him and that everything was done according to the halakha. And then we also spoke about the yain, the wine, that if it's not mevushal wine, so then the wine of a mechalel Shabbat is going to be prohibited to drink. So if he poured you a wine, you're not allowed to drink that wine. It's just like a goy, because at the end of the day, it has the same halachot. Now continues the Mishnah Brura, and he explains as follows. He says, we know that there are 248 positive commandments and 365 negative commandments. Every single one of the commandments is parallel, is correlation to one of the body parts of the human being. Now what happens is that if a person doesn't realize, if right now a person will come and they will do certain things, whether it is going to be that, let's say for example, Chas v'Shalom, they didn't put on tefillin. So when they go to Olam Haba, that body part which is parallel to the tefillin, whether it's going to be the arm or whatever it is, so it's not going to have chiyut, it's not going to have, right, this living, we're going to say, the giving sustenance to that body part. So when you're going to look at him in Olam Haba, he looks like a balmum, he looks like a defected person. Why? Because this is the way that it was. Same thing with tzitzit, the same thing with all the other mitzvot. A person that does not fulfill all of these mitzvot, what happens is that all of a sudden when he comes up to Shamayim, he's still there. But he has a defect. And what is it? You could actually see it, because it's going to be see-through. It's going to be very transparent, and everybody will be able to see it. So therefore, it's going to be an embarrassment. Now, what happens though is, he says, these things, it depends on which type of mitzvot. Some of them, the body is talui, which means the neshama is talui bo, and some of them not. For example, somebody has his arm amputated. Even though he's a defective person, but he could still live, he comes and he says to Mishnah Brura, there are certain things, certain body parts, that if you take away the heart, you take away the brain, you take away certain things, the person cannot live. So therefore he comes and he says, the keeping of the Shabbat is something that the entire neshama is tsuyabo. It's something that the entire essence of a human being is dependent upon the keeping of the Shabbat, and therefore if he does not fulfill Shabbat, it's like that he's not alive. It's not only just that he's alive, but he's defected. He's not alive, he's got no chiyut, he's got nothing there actually going. Then afterwards the Mishnah Brura comes and he explains that in the merit of the Shminat Shabbat Kalacha, it's going to help to forgive all our sins. As it's brought down in the Gemara, Kol Shabbat Hilchato, Afilu Chata Kedor Enosh, even if they sinned, like the generation of Enosh Mochlino, they're going to come and they're going to forgive him, as it says in the pasuk, Asher Enosh Yasezot v'nadam yachzik bo, Rabba v'shomer Shabbat mechalo, shomer yidom yasot, Ra al tikar mechalo lemachullo, meaning don't read it that he desecrated it, which is mechalelo, lechalel Shabbat, but rather machul lo. Machul lo means that he's forgiven. That's why we always come and say machul, machulach, 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 which means that a person is going to be forgiven. And therefore, what does it mean now, kilchato? Kilchato means that you have to actually know that we know that there's 39 avot melachot, and every category has subcategories. As it's brought down in Yerushalmi Perek Gadol, Rabbi Yochanan ben Shakish actually used to come and say, in every single av lametet toladot, which means that in every category they actually used to deduce 39 subcategories. So imagine, we have 39 avot melachot. Avot melachot means categories. The Shakish Rabbi Yochanan used to come and deduce that in every category you also had 39 subcategories. So just to understand it, that's why the Gemara actually says that if somebody is going to come and be Shomer Shabbat, which means that he's not going to be Mechalel Shabbat in any of the details, then it's going to be forgiven. So therefore, that's why he comes and he says that it's so important to actually understand and learn the halachot of Shabbat, because there's so many halachot, and we have to be knowledgeable in all the halachot of Shabbat in order to be Mekayem Shabbat, to fulfill the Shabbat with all its details, Be'ezrat Hashem.